Who are the biggest sleepers in dynasty startups right now? All that and more in this episode of the Locked On Dynasty Football Podcast.
You are Locked On Dynasty Football, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Here are your hosts, Mosher and Kate Magdziuk.
Welcome back to the Locked On Dynasty Podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for tuning in. We'd like to thank you for making us your first listen of the day. Today's episode is brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs to help you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL. I am Marcus Mosher. You can follow me on Twitter at Marcus_Mosher. She is Kate Magdziuk. Follow her on Twitter at Kate Magdziuk. Kate, what's going on?
Nothing. I'm ready for some wild card football. I'm excited. I'm antsy, Marcus. It's kind of nice, honestly. I have nothing on the line this weekend. As a Steelers fan, my hopes and dreams were crushed. So I just get to sit back and watch all of you squirm. For those of you who are still left in the mix here. So I'm feeling good, and I'm ready to talk about some fantasy football because that dynasty itch needs scratched.
Yes, absolutely. So we've got, let's say 5 sleepers that we like in dynasty startups right now. Here's some rules that we had going in. Number 1, it has to be somebody who's being drafted outside the top 100 players on Dynasty League football. And don't pick a quarterback because there's too many quarterbacks that are values here, right? You could just say, oh, I really like Tom Brady, who's being drafted as like QB 28 at pick 200. That's too easy. So we're picking somebody, other positions beside quarterbacks. Kate, you have the floor. Why don't you go first?
All right. With the number 1 overall pick in Dynasty Sleeperland, Kate Magdziuk selects Khalil Herbert. Come on down.
Yeah.
Running back for the Chicago Bears. I cannot believe this guy isn't higher in Dynasty ADP right now. 24 years old, and he is about to inherit the starting job for the Chicago Bears. He will be the starting running back next year. I do think David Montgomery is gone. He's hitting free agency. And I'm just here to say that like Khalil Herbert had one of the most low-key awesome seasons. Like every time we see this dude play, just looks really, really good,
really
Marcus.
Good.
He's really, really talented. He's really tough. And here are some stats about Khalil Herbert's 2022 season that you might not know, Marcus. Among running backs with at least 100 rush attempts, Khalil Herbert leads the NFL in yards per attempt, 5.7 yards per attempt, ranks 3rd in yards after contact per rush attempt. He has more missed forced tackles, despite ranking 36th in overall rush attempts, than Joe Mixon, AJ Dillon, Isaiah Pacheco. In fact, he's got 1 fewer missed forced tackle than Ezekiel Elliott, starting running back. Just starting running back. Ranks 15th in the NFL of most rush attempts of 10 or more yards. Like, he absolutely crushed it in his backup role. And the beauty is that David Montgomery still held such a big role throughout the season that we didn't really between Khalil Herbert's injury and the grasp David Montgomery held on this role. I don't think it gave us a lot of airtime to appreciate these really, really exciting things we saw out of Khalil Herbert. He is the biggest buy in Dynasty, and he's drafted outside of the top 100. Let's ride.
Yeah. RB33, Dynasty League Football, 106
Shameful.
overall. And you were 100% right. Okay. Like this, not a bigger sleeper right here. Kid, he started 3 games in his NFL career. In those 3 games, he's totaled 346 yards from scrimmage, averaging 3 catches a game. Only scored 1 touchdown. That's one of the spots where you'd like to see him improve a little bit. But hey, you're telling me that I can get a running back that anytime he plays, he's a lock to go over 100 yards and is going to catch, multiple passes. Sign me up. Like, what are we doing here? This one seems so easy, right? How is he being ranked behind? How is he being ranked behind Sky Moore?
Thank you. Yeah, like it seems
James
ridiculous.
Conner.
When I was looking up my sleepers, I was sure that this guy would never have fallen outside of the top 100.
Bonkers.
It's absolutely bonkers. But like,
did you mention David Montgomery's going to be a free agent? I believe you did, right?
Yes. And like, the thing is, Marcus, this gives me such James Conner, Le'Veon Bell vibes. Like, those who just were prepared for the departure before we knew there was going to be a departure, you were rewarded with an RB1. And this is the next version of that. Except now we actually have the advanced warning that he's a free agent, and we're still not buying in. What are we doing? I don't know. It's ridiculous.
All right. I agree. I'll give you another running back just really quickly. I've got some other ones I want to talk about, but Tyler Algier being ranked as RB 44 right now on Dynasty League Football, 129 overall. Kate, he rushed for 1,000 yards this year, totaled over 1,100 yards. Final 9 games of the season, he was averaging about 85 yards per game. He's under contract for the next 3 years. I don't know if Cordero Patterson's going to be back. He's a free agent. How is a running back that ran for 1,000 yards as a rookie on a team that wants to run the ball being ranked outside the top, I don't know, 120 players?
This is why we said like fade running backs in general, because you can get them so late. I absolutely love it. Tyler Algier, like, just a big, like, he's your prototypical running back, and he's going to get a starting role. Like, this team likes him a lot.
Would you rather draft Khalil Herbert and Tyler Algier in the double-digit rounds of your startup, or like basically those are going to be our 2 RB2s? We're hoping one of those guys hits. Or would you rather draft J.K. Dobbins at pick 47 overall in your startup?
Give me both of these guys outside of the top 100.
Easily,
especially with the wide receivers that are available early in drafts. I think there's such value to be had, throughout like the first 4 rounds of your dynasty startups at the wide receiver position. We know that position has longevity. So this is like, that's the strategy that I'm rolling with this offseason. Load up on those receivers, and then I'm taking Tyler Algier, baby.
It's
love this pick.
It's bonkers to me that you can draft these 2 guys after the top 100, or you could draft Aaron Jones at pick 50 in your startup. And I like Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones is a good player, but no way. We've got some other players that we want to discuss, some more sleepers that you need to keep an eye on. But before we do that, I want to tell you about LinkedIn. LinkedIn Jobs helps you quickly attract qualified candidates to your open jobs with targeting tools. Small business, owners, hiring managers, that success is going to be so important here in 2023. And it all depends that you have the right team members helping you out. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs makes it easy to identify the most qualified candidates and connect with them fast and for free. It makes it easy to screen and rate applicants based on your job qualifications on all on one platform. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates that you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL. That is linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Also, want to let you know about Built Bar. You know how much we love Built Bar. If you're looking for a delicious but healthy treat, now that we are into your New Year's resolutions, then you got to try Built Bar. We're all going to try to eat just a little bit healthier this year. Built Bar is going to help you do it. What makes Built Bar so good? Well, first of all, they're covered in 100% real chocolate. That's right. Real chocolate, not that fake stuff that you can tell instantly when you bite into it. And it's no good. It's going to stick to the top of your mouth. No, we don't want that. We want real chocolate. And best of all, only 130 calories, 17 grams of protein. And one more thing, they also have amazing flavors. Right now, the cookie dough is my current favorite. I also like the coconut brownie chunk. But there's also the churro flavor. There's the coconut almond. There's peanut butter brownie. There's just peanut butter if you want just the peanut butter one. Not sure how Built Bar does it, but they're absolutely fantastic. Kate, did you know now, instead of going to built.com, which you can still always do to make your orders, you can go into your local Walmart and pick up a 4 box of cookies and cream or double chocolate or coconut puffs. Or if you live near a Sam's Club, you can run in and grab a 13-bar box with some of the hit flavors like the brownie batter right now. You can thank us later. Go check out built.com. All right, Kate, who's your next sleeper?
All right, I'm heading over to the tight end position, Marcus. And this guy, he sure is being slept on outside of the top 100. But once you see him, you can't miss him. And it's Jelani Woods, tight end for the Indianapolis Colts.
That's
6'4",
Jelani Woods that I wrote on my list.
6'7". Is Jelani Woods on your list?
Yes.
Yeah.
So just to say, we don't talk about these names ahead of time because we want to be surprised. Jelani Woods was my name. So this is fantastic. Let's do this.
Let's do this because I'm all in. 24 years old, 6'7". He is literally a giant. Like he's just a giant. He's a giant. Yeah, there's no. We don't need any other descriptors here. Ranks in the 97th percentile for height among tight ends. But like, what's incredible is despite the just giant body, right? Like he's a giant human. He ran a 4.61 at the combine. That ranks 88th in percentile rank among tight ends. And that's not even accounting for the fact that like size adjusted speed for this dude is absolutely ridiculous. He's a solid receiver. And I think what we've seen out of him this year, despite a really limited role, is quite exciting. I loved watching him play. In the second half of the season, you saw further involvement, but I think you saw him come up in big plays. And I think you saw the quarterbacks, especially Matt Ryan, start to trust Jelani Woods in that second half of the season. And why wouldn't you? He's a literal monster of a human being. Like, yeah, I want to throw to the guy that's way taller than anybody else and has that big frame. Among tight ends with 10 or more targets against man coverage, he ranked third among all NFL tight ends in passer rating when targeted. Like, yeah. He, I think, has, plenty of skills to develop in terms of route running, but he's got the athleticism, he's got the tools, and he is going to have the opportunity. Like I think that is an absolute given with Jelani Woods.
We also have to remember that even good tight end prospects, like I'm talking guys that get drafted like in the late part of the first round or early part of the second round, they typically struggle to find a role in the offense, right? And I mean, Kate, look no further than Trey McBride, who a lot of people had as, the clear-cut top tight end in this class. He was not a blocker, but a receiver really coming out of college. He had fewer yards and touchdowns than Jelani Woods, who was viewed as a project coming out of Virginia. So when you're talking, you remember that this is a team that used 3 different quarterbacks this year and pulled them, seemed like at random to start. I think there's going to be some stability next year at quarterback, whether that's they trade for Derek Carr, whether they draft somebody in round 1, maybe they trade up and get Bryce Young. I think there's going to be stability. And if I told you in year 2, Kate, Jelani Woods had 600 yards and 6 touchdowns, I don't think you would think that's a massive, leap, or it feels very realistic to me.
Yeah, I don't think there would be really any kind of surprise there. I'm all in on Jelani Woods. I think between the opportunity that I think is to come just situationally and the prospect paired with what we've seen in year 1, again, stat sheet, like not overly impressive, but I think it's when you watch him and saw the situations they were going to him, and no moment looked too big for this rookie tight end. Too big.
So here, nice. Here's what I would recommend doing. Tell me if you would agree. So if I'm in a dynasty startup, I'm actually not afraid of taking Travis Kelce where his current ADP is at, which is 45 overall. Like if I'm drafting that guy, would that be the early 4th round, right? Ish.
Yeah.
Late 3rd round, early 4th round. Drafting Travis Kelce, knowing that, I mean, he just had another monster season, riding basically him until the wheels fall off, and then turn right around. Don't draft another tight end until we get to Jelani Woods, who's being drafted as tight end 27, which is currently after the top 200 picks. And those are my tight ends going forward. I'm willing to be a little bit patient on Woods. Let's see what the next 2 or 3 years bring, and just have elite tight end play, hopefully for the next 5, 6, 7 years.
I like that because I mean, for the time being, you should be very satisfied with Travis Kelce as long as he stays healthy. There's, he doesn't exactly leave anything off the table there.
And the best part is I play in a lot of dynasty leagues, Kate, that have short benches. This helps with your roster construction, right? Because if you're starting Travis Kelce every week and you're only rostering one of these upside tight ends, hey, you're only taking up 2 spots on, a 20-man roster. I think that's a good strategy here.
Yeah, I like it.
All right.
I think we're all in.
I will mention another tight end that I was just a little bit interested in, Chigakonkwo for the Titans. Now, he's being drafted significantly higher than Jelani Woods. He's being drafted as tight end 20. I'm okay with that because you look at all the advanced stats from Pro Football Focus, like yards per route run, yards after catch, after contact, just yak in general. He was number 1 by far this year. Seems like down the stretch, the Titans started to figure out how to use him. He's just another one of these upside tight ends that I'm keeping an eye on after the top, 150 picks in your startup drafts.
Yeah, I love it. I think there's a lot of value. Again, the nice thing about investing in the tight end position is that it doesn't cost a lot to invest in the tight end position,
right.
In general, because of that volatility. And we know you can make your best guesses at the tight end position. We don't really know. But I think all of these options are kind of providing our team with chances and upside, and that's the goal.
Yeah. Kate, I have one more player that I want to mention as a sleeper before we head out. But before we do that, we want to let you know about Bet Online. Bet Online is the number 1 spot and number 1 source for your sports betting info, stats, news, and analysis. You get the latest odds and trends for every professional and amateur league out there, from pro football to college bowl season to basketball and World Cup. They've got it all at betonline.net. And if you love sports podcasts, and we know that you do because you're listening to one right now, you can even find those at Bet Online as well. It's always the fastest and the easiest way to get your betting info. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more. Bet Online, where the game starts. All right, Kate. So your 2 sleepers were Khalil Herbert and Jelani Woods. Absolutely fantastic. Woods was one of my guys as well. So is it all right if I finish up with this last one?
I'll let you finish it out, but I do want to say I've got one more mini sleeper.
Go ahead. Please.
Okay. What about Chuba Hubbard? What's temperature check on Chuba Hubbard?
I mean, this was a year where we saw him play well, and Deontay Foreman is a free agent.
There we go.
I have to assume Foreman's coming back, but even then, they were using both of those players.
They were, and we saw the run game start to really take form in the second half of the season. I mean, Chuba Hubbard looked much better this season than he did last, and he got a lot less work. He was just a lot more efficient with that work. He was much more efficient as a receiver, despite, again, less opportunity. I just think the potential is going to be there.
Yes.
He dropped in. He dropped in the NFL draft, I think, a lot because of injury history in college and not being fully healthy, not being his full stock. But let's not forget he had a couple of very productive seasons in college, and that could translate easily.
I agree. I think just another one of those running backs that you can get outside the top 100 to kind of take a swing on, hoping for RB2 production.
All right, now close us out, Marcus. This better be a good one.
I want you to guess. I want you to guess. So this player is being drafted outside of the top 120 players. It's a Pro Bowl receiver who is entering age 27, his age 27 season. that you can get outside the top 120. Can you guess who it is?
Pro Bowl
A
receiver.
Pro Bowl receiver who's entering age 27 season, who's being drafted outside the top 120.
Ooh. I don't know.
The answer is Hunter Renfrow. Now, I know the upside here is a little bit lower than what you would think. He missed time this year with an injury that knocked him out for, I believe, 6 games. He also got a concussion after week 2, so he missed a lot of time this year. But remember, last year he was 1,000 yards and 9 touchdowns, one of the more efficient receivers in the league. And at the kind of to finish up the season, caught a couple of touchdowns, started to look like his former self. This is somebody who the Raiders have invested interest in. They're paying him a ton of money next year. We know that he gets open. We know that he's on the field a lot. He's being drafted as wide receiver 59. I'll take one of these slot receivers like Hunter Renfrow and plug him in as my wide receiver 3 every single week. Like if I decide to load up on tight ends and running backs early and I just want to get a functional, good player, sure, why not?
I'm a little bit more tepid here on
Okay.
Hunter Renfrow, but I will say, like, we have seen the upside before. So last year, following the bye week for the Raiders, week 9 on, Hunter Renfrow was a wide receiver 1 in 60% of his games, averaged over 17 PPR points per game. We saw him be super productive. Now, again, you mentioned health in the 2022 season. That didn't really translate. But closed out the year on a high note in week 18. Had almost 20 fantasy points. I think the floor is quite low.
It is.
But I don't have a problem as much with the ceiling because we saw it at work.
Can I galaxy brain us a little bit here?
Mm-hmm.
There are outcomes in free agency in the draft this year that could significantly improve Hunter Renfrow's stock. For example, who is the quarterback that's been mentioned a lot with the Raiders over the last couple of weeks? Do you know?
No.
Tom Brady, right? Joining back
yes.
up with Josh McDaniels, playing in a dome. What does Hunter Renfrow do if Tom Brady is the quarterback and Renfrow's playing out of the slot? Does he catch 100 passes next year?
Probably. Julian Edelman light.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the Raiders do. Let's say it's not Brady, but it's another veteran like that, like an established guy. I won't be surprised. Or what if it's Mac Jones? Let's say, hey, the Patriots move on from Mac Jones and he goes and joins with Josh McDaniel. I think there's a chance that Renfrow becomes kind of the guy that gets all these short targets. I would just keep an eye on Renfrow at this price because I do think there's a chance the quarterback play improves and he becomes a bigger part of the offense.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Right.
Especially if Tom Brady were under center, man, that would be.
It's just I look at some of the receivers that are going ahead of him, like Tyler Boyd. Tyler Boyd hasn't had a 900-yard season in each of the last 3 years. He hasn't scored more than 5 touchdowns, and Tyler Boyd is going into his age 29 season. Like, I'd rather just have Renfrow, who's 2 years younger and has one of those seasons. There's a lot of players like that. I just think Renfrow little bit underrated. That's all.
Yeah. All right. I like it. This was a good one. Marcus.
All right. That's it for today's show. We want to thank you for making Locked On Dynasty your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the Locked On NFL podcast, bringing you the local insights you love to the national spotlight with daily conversations on the biggest NFL stories. Locked On NFL, available on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. Kate, you and I will be back on Monday. I'm assuming we're going to be reacting to Super Wildcard Weekend. All the news that comes out should be a lot of fun. Go follow us on YouTube, Locked On Dynasty over there. Go follow Kate at Kate Magdziuk. I'm at Marcus _Mosher. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the games. And we'll see you guys next time.